There is a particular kind of loneliness that hurts more than being physically alone. It is the feeling of sitting in a room full of people and still sensing a deep emptiness inside. It is smiling during conversations while carrying a quiet ache that nobody seems to notice. It is being surrounded by family, friends, co-workers and acquaintances, yet feeling disconnected in a way that is difficult to explain. Many people who carry a deep sense of purpose experience this reality. They often wonder why they can spend hours around others and still return home feeling emotionally hungry, spiritually drained, and strangely unseen. If this has been your experience, there is a reason these feelings have affected you so deeply. The truth is that some people are not empty because they lack company. They feel empty because their soul longs for something that ordinary interactions cannot provide. You may have spent years trying to understand why certain conversations leave you exhausted instead of fulfilled. You may have noticed that many relationships seem to revolve around surface-level topics, while your heart searches for meaning, sincerity, depth, and genuine connection. This can create an invisible gap between you and the people around you. It does not mean you are better than anyone else. It does not mean others are doing something wrong. It simply means your inner world operates differently. While many people are satisfied with temporary distractions, your spirit keeps searching for something deeper. That search can become painful when nobody around you seems to understand it. There are moments when you have listened to others, supported them, encouraged them, and carried their burdens only to realize that very few people have ever asked about yours. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. Your kindness cost you more than most people will ever understand. Many of the strongest people become experts at appearing fine because they have learned how to survive disappointment without drawing attention to themselves. Over time, however, constantly giving while rarely receiving creates a quiet emptiness. The heart was never designed to pour endlessly without being refreshed. Some of your greatest victories happened in silence when nobody was watching. Some of your hardest battles were fought behind a smile. Some of your deepest tears were shed in places where nobody could see them. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. Even when people misunderstood your silence, heaven understood your struggle. Even when people overlooked your sacrifices, your efforts still mattered. One reason many chosen people feel empty around others is because they often spend their lives adapting to environments where they do not fully belong. They learn how to fit into conversations. They learn how to meet expectations. They learn how to be what others need them to be. Yet while they are busy adapting, a part of themselves remains unseen. Imagine carrying a beautiful song inside your heart, while spending years in places where nobody can hear the music. Eventually, the silence becomes painful. You start wondering if anyone will ever understand what you carry. You start questioning whether your thoughts, dreams, struggles, and hopes truly matter. Yet the problem was never your value. The problem was that you were measuring your worth through environments that lacked the ability to recognize it. A diamond does not lose value because it sits in a dark room. Its value remains unchanged whether people notice it or not. The same is true for you. Your worth has never depended on recognition. Your purpose has never depended on applause. Your significance has never depended on how many people understood your journey. Many people spend years trying to earn validation from individuals who are unable to give it. They chase approval. They seek acceptance. They try to prove themselves. Yet every achievement leaves them feeling just as empty as before. The reason is simple. Human recognition was never meant to replace inner peace. External approval cannot heal wounds that require deeper restoration. That is why some of the most admired people in the world still struggle with loneliness. Recognition and connection are not the same thing. Popularity and understanding are not the same thing. Being surrounded by people and feeling truly known are not the same thing. If you have felt empty around others, there is a good chance that your soul has been craving authenticity. It has been craving relationships where masks are unnecessary. It has been craving conversations that nourish instead of drain. It has been craving a sense of belonging that goes beyond appearances. Sometimes the emptiness itself becomes a teacher. It reveals what truly matters. It shows you which relationships bring life and which ones only consume energy. It helps you recognize that quantity can never replace quality. 100 shallow connections cannot provide what one genuine relationship can offer. During difficult seasons, It may feel as though God has forgotten you. It may feel as though your prayers have gone unanswered. It may feel as though everyone else has found their place while you continue searching. Yet many of the seasons that feel empty are actually seasons of preparation. The seasons that tested you were also shaping who you were becoming. Not every battle you fought was in vain. Not every disappointment was meaningless. Not every closed door was a punishment. Sometimes God allows certain forms of loneliness because they reveal where your foundation truly rests. When every source of validation disappears, you discover whether your identity is built on applause or on truth. When every distraction fades away, you discover what your heart genuinely needs. When people fail to provide the comfort you expected, you begin learning how to draw strength from deeper places. There is a strength within you that kept moving forward, even on your darkest days. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. Many people would have given up under the weight you carried. Many people would have become bitter after experiencing the disappointments you endured. Yet somehow you continued moving forward. Perhaps slowly, perhaps painfully, but you continued. That perseverance matters, your endurance matters, your faith matters. Even when progress feels invisible, growth is still happening. One of the most difficult truths to accept is that not everyone will understand your heart. Some people will only know the version of you that you allow them to see. Some will misunderstand your intentions. Some will underestimate your struggles. Some will never realize how much you have overcome. Accepting this reality can be painful, but it can also be freeing. Once you stop expecting everyone to understand you, you become free to focus on the people who genuinely care. Once you stop chasing validation, you gain the freedom to pursue purpose. Once you stop measuring your worth through the opinions of others, you begin discovering the value that was always present within you. You are worth far more than the moments that tried to make you feel small. Your story has value, even if it did not unfold the way you expected. Every setback taught something. Every disappointment revealed something. Every lonely season developed something. The wisdom you carry today was not created during easy times. It was forged through challenges. It was developed through perseverance. It was strengthened through survival. The emptiness you feel around certain people is not always a sign that something is wrong with you. Sometimes it is simply evidence that your soul needs more than what those environments can offer. Sometimes it is a reminder that your purpose requires deeper nourishment. Sometimes it is an invitation to reconnect with the parts of yourself that were neglected while trying to please everyone else. Healing often begins when you stop fighting your need for depth and start honoring it. There is nothing wrong with longing for meaningful connection. There is nothing wrong with desiring relationships rooted in sincerity, trust, and understanding. There is nothing wrong with wanting conversations that touch the heart, instead of merely filling silence. These desires do not make you weak. They reveal the depth of your humanity. They reveal the beauty of your heart. They reveal the richness of the soul God entrusted to you. The future may not look the way you imagined. The people you expected to stay may not have remained. The recognition you hoped for may not have arrived. Yet, none of these things have the power to erase your value. None of them have the authority to define your destiny. None of them can change the fact that your life still carries meaning. Even now, in the middle of uncertainty, there is hope. Even now, in the middle of loneliness, there is purpose. Even now, in the middle of emptiness, there is something valuable growing within you. If this message spoke to your heart and helped you understand that your value is not determined by who recognizes you, subscribe to the channel and continue walking this journey of faith, healing, purpose, and encouragement. You do not have to carry every burden alone, and sometimes the right message arrives exactly when the heart needs it most. There comes a moment when a person grows tired of pretending that everything is fine, not because they have become weak, but because carrying invisible weight for too long eventually becomes exhausting. Many chosen people reach a season where they begin noticing a painful pattern. They can spend an entire day surrounded by conversations, responsibilities, social gatherings, and familiar faces, yet at the end of it all they still feel emotionally empty. The silence they feel inside remains untouched by the noise around them. This experience often creates confusion because society teaches that loneliness is simply the absence of people. Yet many of the loneliest moments in life happen when people are present. The deeper truth is that loneliness is often the absence of understanding rather than the absence of company. When your heart carries experiences that few people can relate to, a sense of separation begins to form. You may have learned this lesson through years of disappointment. You may have opened your heart only to discover that others could not fully appreciate what you were trying to express. You may have shared your struggles and received shallow responses. You may have revealed your pain and encountered indifference. You may have given your loyalty and received inconsistency in return. Little by little, these experiences teach a person to protect themselves. Walls begin forming, not because they want isolation, but because repeated disappointment creates caution. Many chosen people become experts at carrying their own burdens because experience taught them that not everyone knows how to carry them with care. Yet while those walls provide protection, they can also create emptiness. The heart remains guarded, and although it avoids further injury, it also struggles to receive the connection it desperately needs. This is one reason the chosen often feel different around others. They are carrying stories that were written through hardship. They have endured seasons that reshaped them. They have faced battles that altered their perspective on life. While others discuss temporary concerns, they often find themselves thinking about purpose, healing, faith, loss, resilience, and meaning. This difference in perspective can create a sense of emotional distance. It is not arrogance, it is not judgment. It is simply the result of walking through experiences that changed the way they see the world. The person who has survived deep pain often develops a different appreciation for life. The person who has endured loss begins valuing things differently. The person who has spent years fighting silent battles often learns lessons that cannot be taught in ordinary conversations. Sometimes this growth creates a feeling that nobody truly understands what is happening inside. Yet what feels like isolation is often evidence of transformation. Growth can be lonely because growth changes you. The version of yourself that once fit comfortably into certain environments may no longer exist. Your priorities change, your values deepen, your understanding expands. Suddenly, the places that once felt comfortable no longer satisfy the soul. Conversations that once seemed meaningful now feel empty. Activities that once provided excitement now feel temporary. Relationships that were built on convenience rather than authenticity begin losing their ability to nourish your heart. This can be frightening because it feels like losing pieces of your old life. Yet it may actually be evidence that you are moving forward. Sometimes God allows dissatisfaction with what is shallow because He is leading you toward what is deeper. Sometimes the emptiness you feel is not punishment. Sometimes it is direction. Sometimes it is your spirit recognizing that it was created for more than surviving on crumbs of connection. Your soul longs for something real. Your heart longs for relationships where masks can be removed. Your spirit longs for environments where authenticity is welcomed rather than feared. The difficult part is that these things often take time to find. During that waiting period, many chosen people begin questioning themselves. They wonder if they are asking for too much. They wonder if they should lower their expectations. They wonder if genuine connection even exists. Yet, deep down, they know the answer. The longing they feel is not unreasonable. Every human being was created with a need to be known, valued, and understood. The challenge is that not everyone is willing to engage at that depth. Some people spend their entire lives avoiding vulnerability. Some spend years hiding behind appearances. Some never develop the courage to reveal who they truly are. As a result, many relationships remain confined to the surface. For someone whose heart desires depth, these interactions eventually become exhausting. They leave feeling emptier than before because the soul recognizes that something essential is missing. There is another reason the chosen often feel empty around others. Many of them have spent years being the strong one. They became the encourager, the listener, the helper, the dependable person, the one others call during difficult times, the one who remains calm during storms, the one who provides support when everyone else falls apart. These qualities are beautiful, but they can create an imbalance. Over time, people begin expecting strength without realizing that strength also needs support. They admire resilience without understanding the cost of maintaining it. They appreciate reliability without recognizing the sacrifices behind it. As a result, The chosen often become emotionally overlooked. Others see their strength and assume they are fine. Others see their composure and assume they have no struggles. Others see their endurance and assume they need nothing. Yet beneath that strength is still a human heart. Beneath that resilience is still a person who needs encouragement. Beneath that calm exterior is still someone who sometimes feels tired, discouraged, and overwhelmed. Your kindness cost you more than most people will ever understand. There were moments when you carried responsibilities that nobody noticed. There were seasons when you kept showing up despite exhaustion. There were days when simply continuing required tremendous courage. God saw every one of those moments. Heaven witnessed every sacrifice. Every tear mattered, every prayer mattered, every act of faith mattered. Sometimes the chosen believe their loneliness means they have been forgotten. Yet often the opposite is true. Some seasons of solitude are not signs of abandonment. They are seasons of preparation. Throughout life, certain experiences develop qualities that cannot be produced any other way. Patience develops when answers take longer than expected. Wisdom develops when mistakes become lessons. Compassion develops when pain teaches empathy. Strength develops when quitting would seem easier. These qualities rarely grow in comfort. They often emerge through struggle. Looking back, many people eventually realize that the very seasons they wanted to escape were the seasons that shaped them most profoundly. The hardship they resented became the source of their resilience. The rejection they feared became protection. The delays they questioned became preparation. The loneliness they fought became a classroom where deeper lessons were learned. Not every battle you fought was in vain. Some of your greatest victories happened in silence when nobody was watching. There were moments when nobody applauded your progress. Nobody recognized your courage. Nobody celebrated your endurance. Yet those moments still mattered. Every time you chose faith over despair, something important happened. Every time you chose hope despite disappointment, something inside you grew stronger. Every time you refused to let bitterness define you, your character deepened. The world often celebrates visible success, but many of the most important transformations happen privately. Character is built in hidden places. Faith is strengthened in hidden places. Healing begins in hidden places. Sometimes the emptiness you feel around others is actually revealing a deeper invitation. It is inviting you to reconnect with your own heart. It is inviting you to recognize needs you have ignored. It is inviting you to stop measuring your worth by external responses. The truth is that many people spend years waiting for someone else to confirm their value. Yet value is not created by recognition. Value already exists. A sunset remains beautiful whether anyone watches it or not. A flower remains beautiful whether anyone compliments it or not. In the same way, your worth exists independently of how others perceive you. You do not become valuable when people approve of you. You do not become important when people understand you. You do not become worthy when people finally recognize your gifts. Your value existed long before any of those things occurred. God placed it within you from the beginning. The challenge is learning to believe that truth, even when circumstances seem to contradict it. There will always be seasons when others fail to recognize what you carry. There will always be people who misunderstand your intentions. There will always be moments when you feel unseen. Yet those moments do not define your identity. They do not determine your future. They do not have the final word. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. You survived days that seemed impossible. You overcame obstacles that once appeared overwhelming. You carried burdens that would have broken many people. The resilience that brought you this far is evidence that something powerful continues to work within you. Even now, hope remains alive. Even now, healing remains possible. Even now, meaningful connections can still enter your life. Even now, your story continues unfolding. The chapters behind you may contain pain, disappointment, and loneliness, but they do not determine how the entire story ends. There is still purpose ahead. There is still growth ahead. There is still peace ahead. There is still beauty ahead. If these words helped you feel understood in a way that many conversations never have, subscribe to the channel and continue receiving messages that encourage faith, healing, perseverance, and personal growth. May each message remind you that your journey matters, your heart matters, and the purpose within you remains valuable even during seasons when you feel unseen. One of the most beautiful truths that many chosen people discover is that the emptiness they carried for so long was never meant to be their permanent home. For years, it may have felt as though something was missing. No matter how hard they worked, no matter how many people surrounded them, no matter how much effort they invested into relationships, there remained a quiet ache within them. At times, they blamed themselves. They wondered whether they expected too much. They questioned whether they were too sensitive, too thoughtful, too emotional, or simply too different. Yet as time passed, a deeper understanding slowly began to emerge. The emptiness was not proof that they were broken. It was evidence that their heart was searching for something genuine. A thirsty person is not flawed because they desire water. A hungry person is not flawed because they desire nourishment. In the same way, a soul that longs for meaning, authenticity, and connection is not flawed because it refuses to be satisfied by things that cannot truly sustain it. Many people spend their lives filling every moment with distractions because silence forces them to confront deeper questions. Yet the chosen often find themselves unable to escape those questions. Their spirit keeps searching. Their heart keeps reaching. Their soul keeps longing for something real. This search can feel exhausting because the world offers countless substitutes. Temporary validation is offered in place of lasting peace. Performance is offered in place of authenticity. Popularity is offered in place of genuine belonging. Yet none of these things can fully satisfy the deeper needs of the human heart. That is why some people achieve everything they thought they wanted and still feel empty. The soul cannot be nourished by appearances alone. It requires truth. It requires purpose. It requires connection. It requires hope. Many chosen people spend years learning this lesson through experience. They discover that achievement alone does not heal loneliness. They discover that being admired does not guarantee understanding. They discover that being needed is not the same as being loved. They discover that being surrounded by people is not the same as being connected to them. These realizations can initially feel discouraging, but eventually they become liberating. They free a person from chasing things that were never designed to satisfy them. They create space for deeper healing. They open the door to a more authentic life. The truth is that some of the emptiness you have felt around other people came from trying to receive from the wrong sources what only deeper relationships, deeper purpose, and deeper faith could provide. This realization is not meant to create distance between you and others. It is meant to create wisdom. Wisdom helps you recognize where genuine nourishment exists. Wisdom helps you invest your energy wisely. Wisdom helps you stop forcing connections that continually leave you depleted. There is a remarkable peace that begins to emerge when you stop begging for understanding from those who are unwilling or unable to provide it. There is freedom in accepting that not everyone will see your heart clearly. There is strength in understanding that your value remains unchanged regardless of who recognizes it. Many of the people who hurt you were responding to their own limitations rather than your worth. Many who failed to appreciate your kindness lacked the capacity to recognize its value. Many who misunderstood your intentions were viewing you through the lens of their own experiences. Their inability to understand you was never proof that you lacked value. It was simply evidence that not everyone possesses the same perspective. This truth becomes incredibly important because many chosen people spend years carrying wounds created by rejection. They replay conversations. They revisit disappointments. They wonder what they could have done differently. Yet healing often begins when they realize that not every rejection was a reflection of their shortcomings. Sometimes people walk away because they cannot understand what they have encountered. Sometimes relationships end because two people are moving in different directions. Sometimes closed doors become protection. Sometimes losses create room for healthier opportunities. Looking back, many people discover that the relationships they once begged to keep were never aligned with their future. The doors they desperately wanted opened would have led them away from where they truly needed to go. The disappointments they mourned became unexpected blessings. This does not mean the pain was easy. It does not mean the loneliness was pleasant. It simply means that difficult experiences often contain hidden lessons that become visible only with time. The seasons that tested you were also shaping who you were becoming. Every challenge left an imprint. Every hardship developed strength. Every disappointment taught discernment. Every lonely night strengthened endurance. The person you are today did not emerge despite those experiences. In many ways, you emerged through them. There is a wisdom within you now that did not exist before. There is a compassion within you now that grew from understanding pain. There is a resilience within you now that was forged through survival. You have become stronger than you realize. Not because life was easy, but because you continued moving forward when life was difficult. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. You endured seasons that nobody fully understood, yet you remained standing. That alone is extraordinary. The world often celebrates visible achievements, but some of the greatest accomplishments happen quietly. Choosing faith when fear feels overwhelming is an accomplishment. Choosing kindness after experiencing hurt is an accomplishment. Choosing hope after repeated disappointment is an accomplishment. Choosing to keep going when giving up seems easier is an accomplishment. Many of your most important victories happened in private. Nobody applauded them. Nobody posted about them. Nobody recognized them. Yet, heaven saw them. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. He saw the moments when you questioned yourself. He saw the moments when you almost gave up. He saw the moments when you continued despite exhaustion. None of those moments were invisible to him. Sometimes the chosen become so focused on what they have lost that they overlook what they have gained. They see the people who left but forget the strength that remained. They see the opportunities that disappeared but forget the wisdom they acquired. They see the loneliness but overlook the growth. Yet growth has been happening all along, quietly, consistently, deeply. The very qualities that make you who you are today were developed through those difficult seasons. Your patience grew through waiting. Your faith grew through uncertainty. Your resilience grew through adversity. Your compassion grew through suffering. Your wisdom grew through experience. None of these qualities arrived by accident. They were developed through a process. That process was often uncomfortable, but it was never meaningless. Your story has value even if it did not unfold the way you expected. Some dreams took longer than planned. Some answers arrived differently than anticipated. Some chapters contained more pain than you thought you could bear. Yet the story is not finished. The future still contains possibilities you cannot yet see. There are relationships you have not yet formed. There are opportunities you have not yet encountered. There are blessings you have not yet experienced. There are moments of peace you have not yet imagined. One of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming that their current circumstances represent their permanent reality. They mistake a season for a destiny. They mistake a chapter for an ending. They mistake temporary loneliness for lifelong isolation. Yet life rarely remains the same forever. Seasons change, circumstances evolve, hearts heal, new opportunities emerge, new relationships form, new understanding develops. What feels permanent today may eventually become a memory that taught you something valuable. This is why hope remains so important. Hope does not deny pain. Hope acknowledges pain while refusing to believe that pain has the final word. Hope recognizes difficulty without surrendering to despair. Hope understands that today is not the entire story. If you have felt empty around other people, remember this. Your worth has never depended on how many people understood you. Your value has never depended on how many people appreciated your heart. Your significance has never depended on recognition. You were valuable before anyone noticed. You were worthy before anyone applauded. You mattered before anyone understood your story. You still matter now. There is something deeply valuable within you. There is strength within you. There is resilience within you. There is wisdom within you. There is purpose within you. The difficult times did not erase those qualities, they revealed them. The loneliness did not destroy you, it taught you. The struggles did not define you, they developed you. As you continue moving forward, may you remember that you are not forgotten, you are not overlooked, you are not abandoned. The road has been difficult, but the road has also been shaping you. Your kindness matters, your endurance matters, your faith matters, your journey matters. And even if others fail to recognize the treasure within you, that treasure remains just as real. If these messages have brought comfort to your heart and reminded you that your journey still holds meaning, Subscribe to the channel so you can continue receiving encouragement rooted in faith, healing, perseverance, and purpose. May every message ahead help strengthen your hope, remind you of your worth, and reinforce the truth that you were never meant to walk this path without encouragement.